Our speaker, Joey Myers, authors the video hitting blog, hittingperformancelab.com. He's been a corrective fitness guru for over 10 years and played 4 years of Division I baseball right here at Fresno State. My brother would have liked that. He's been a lifelong baseball fan. He currently coaches and umps and everything. He's part of the American Baseball Coaches Association, International Youth Conditioning Association, Society of American Baseball Research, and he supports Positive Coaching Alliance. I don't know how he has time for anything else. Please welcome Joey Myers as he gives his presentation, How to Consistently Crush the Ball Using Geometry and Springy Forces.
I'm going to come up in front here.
I'm going to get out of here so I don't get
It's going to be a little demo. Hello. It's going to be a little demo going on here. So like Dee Dee said, it's just actually for coaches. It's funny because Peggy said, well, if you're talking, because it's supposed to be a technical speech for a non-technical audience, which you guys qualify as non-technical, most of you here. But most coaches are non-technical. They want things to be dumbed down and very simplified and things like that. So that's what this speech will do. So as you can see, the title, How to Consistently Crush the Ball Using Geometry and Springy Forces. This is something that I didn't know when I went through geometry class in school. So I want to lead off with a quote. This is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. It's one of my favorite quotes, and it says, "The man who grasps principles," or we'll talk about rules, another word for rules, "can successfully select his own methods. The man who tries methods ignoring principles is sure to have trouble." We're going to be talking about principles today, and that seems to be a big hot topic. A lot of these coaches don't understand the difference between principles and methods or human movement rules. So my current student case studies. I have one hitter last summer, 98 pounds, 11 years old, hitting the ball 300 feet. 300 feet, put it into perspective, is the length of a football field, 100 yards. Multiple times. I have another hitter, actually his brother, is 2 years younger than him, but it was I think a year later than him, weighed 95 pounds, 10 years old, hitting his first 270-foot homer. Now when you see a lot of these around 100-pound hitters, and you see them hit the ball that far, you're like, wow. Like right now you probably are thinking, 98 pounds, 100 pounds, don't really understand what that is. When you see these hitters, it's amazing to see them hit the ball that far. Have another 115-pound hitter. Now this is more of, I tell my parents that this is a results not typical hitter. These are more of a natural born hitter. This kid will get up, he's actually a cousin of my wife's side. He'll get up an hour before he needs to for school. So if he's got to get up at 7, he gets up at 6 and he hits for an hour every day, Monday through Friday. Not all my kids do that. Not even a fraction of them do that. But at 115 pounds, when he was 12 years old, this was last year, he consistently hit the ball over 300 feet to all fields. He's a lefty, so as some of you have seen a baseball field, you see it's kind of like it's a diamond, right? So he hits it out as a lefty, pull, center, and right and left field. That year, he hit over 40 homers, which is a lot. I mean, kids are lucky to hit 5 to 10 in a season in Little League. And now he's about 135 pounds. He's 13, I think. He's playing on the big field, and we're trying to put weight on him because he's a skinny kid. 135 pounds is still a skinny kid, hitting the ball over 340 feet. So it goes to sleep after. Whoop, there's my button. That'll make it go to sleep. I have another hitter who's 67 pounds. He was 60 pounds when I first started with him. We got him eating Costco muffins. You know, the big giant chocolate muffins in the morning? He gained 5 pounds. Got him up to 65. He gained another couple pounds. But he hit his first homer 180 feet. So a 67-pound kid hit the ball 180 feet. It's pretty impressive. And the last one I want to talk about, this is actually a coach friend of mine who I work with his kid, because when you coach your own kid, a lot of times they don't listen to you. So I coach his kid. We teach the same thing. So he's got a hitter actually he works with that's 115 pounds, teaching the same stuff. 13-year-old who's hitting the ball over 330 feet on the big field. So it's pretty amazing to see how the weight kind of pans out. What we're going to cover in this presentation, we're going to talk about if you move better, you perform better. Using movement tests, we'll do some demos. You guys will get to cash in and do some stuff. Match pitch plane with geometry, and we'll explain some of these concepts. Knock the snot out of the ball with springy fashion. So let's start with move better, you perform better. Those of you understand, you guys know that there's a governor in a truck engine or car engine, usually on buses, school buses. You guys familiar with that? Basically what it is a chip in the engine that if the car goes, or the bus, if the truck goes too fast, then the governor will kick down the accelerator. Example of this is we went one summer during college to my buddy who played at Pepperdine. We were in his Silverado truck. It was like a 2001 Silverado. And we hit the freeway and he started pedal to the metal. He goes, watch this, guys. We had a car full of 3 or 4 guys. Gets it up to about 100 miles an hour. And then we hear this boom. And so this governor in the engine kicked the accelerator down, and I think we ended up around 75 miles an hour. Kind of interesting thing. So it's an automatic thing. Our brains have the same function in our body. If we have an area of our body, say it's hip mobility issue, our brain will not allow us to perform at 100%. And most athletes don't perform more than 80%. Depends on their mobility training, their stability training. So that's a governor in a truck engine. Repetitive movements or positions shape the body. If you sit, you're a desk jockey all day, like probably most of us are, you're going to have a desk jockey body type. So when we sit in this position, you're going to have the same muscles tend to get short. A lot of times your hip flexors. So if you were to just kind of grab, as you bent over and grab that kind of skin there and stood up, that's that tightness that you feel. And a lot of times when we see those 80, 90-year-olds and they're walking this way, well, a lot of times it's because of the shape that their body, the movements and the positions that they take throughout the day shape their body. Great quote from Greg Cook. He's one of the co-founders of the Functional Muscle Screening, which I'm also certified through. He says, you can't fire a cannon from a canoe. And I love this picture. This is, have you ever seen this before? This is a fiddler crab. This would be like if you go to the gym and you 50-pound curls with your right arm and you just go home, right? And this is what I tell my hitters. That's what you're doing every day. If you're a right-handed hitter, so you swing right-handed, you're a right-handed thrower, right? We're not throwing left-handed to balance it out. We're not hitting left-handed to balance it out. So this is what we look like by the end of our career. And I've spent quite a bit of money on my body to try and get it back to where it should be, in balance. Using movement tests. So the big thing here is we want to make sure that we're following human movement rules. Rules like gravitational reaction forces. You jump out of a plane, as long as you're on Earth, got a parachute on hopefully, you will fall 100% of the time because gravity is a principle. Gravity is a rule that we all have to abide by. We all come in contact with this when we start walking. Babies start walking, they have this fight with gravity. And it gets them to a year old or a year and a half old to figure it out and start walking. So first demo I want you guys to do, we call this the Gorilla Grip demo, and I do this with my players. What I want you to do, if you are right-handed, I want you to take if you're left-hand dominant, then use your left hand. So use your dominant hand. I want you to take your finger, put it in the palm of your hand, like this, palm of your hand, and I want you to curl the finger around and try and pull it out. Okay? So now I want you to take the same finger, put it in the fingertips, curl the fingers around it, now try and pull that one out. Okay, a little tougher, a little tougher. Barbara's having a hard time, yeah. Okay, last one. I want you to put the finger at the top of the meat of the hand, base of the fingertips. Okay, right in the middle of the hand, basically. Okay, so you're going to curl it around there, and now try and pull it out. That one, how many of you felt that was the tougher one? Yeah, between that one and the fingertips one. Okay, a lot stronger there. So what we talk about with our hitters is that with our grip, this is a common question that gets asked is how do we grip the bat? So this is what we say. We say right in the middle of the hand, basically. So here, and then same thing with the bottom hand, same thing. A lot of times we're taught to door knocking knuckle grip, but I'm not really even the door knocking knuckles, these ones, if I'm knocking on a door. They say to line those up. But there's a lot of problems that's a whole other speech. But we want to just grip the bat there, regardless of the hand size, it works. It's more objective versus subjective with the hands. So the next demo, one joint rule. So I want to let's bring up our Presidente, Mr. David Fye, come on up here. You have a joint? Hey, and this is not something we do at 420. So what I want Dave to do is, and we got the camera here, so I want you to stare straight ahead, bring you're right-handed, right? Left. Okay, bring your left arm out, and I want you to splay your fingers out nice and wide. This is going to give a cue to the elbow to tighten, okay? So staring straight ahead, I want you to resist me from bending your elbow, okay? Ooh, there's a pop. Oh, good pop. There we go. Okay? So now what I want you to do is take your chin and tuck it right into your chest as deep down as you can. Bring that arm back out again. Splay those fingers out. Keep that chin tucked in. Try and resist me. Okay? Next time I want you to look up into the sky. Drop that head back as far as you can. Okay, same thing. Arm out. Splaying fingers. Trying to resist me from bending your arm. Okay? Last one. Take your left ear, put it into your left shoulder. Okay, arm out. Left arm out, splay the fingers, trying to resist me. Okay, which one of those did you feel stronger of the four?
First two.
First two, so chin to chest and in and here?
But this was straight ahead was
Straight
strong.
ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and the one joint rule is that we have a bunch of joints in our spine, right? Not to get into technical details. So what happens when we go here and we drop chin and chest, we start to bend individual joints, too many of them, versus say a flex, a global flex would be this way, the whole spine and head kind of moves together, versus he just went like this. So what happens is it acts like a guillotine on the central nervous system. Thank you, Dave. So that'd be a test. We talked about at impact. A lot of times hitters are taught to get their head behind the ball. Okay, so ear into shoulder. We say shoulders are ear poison. Okay, getting into here. There's a few hitters too that go chin to chest, and I've also had hitters that their head rocks back this way. So not only head movement is an issue there, but also we're putting the body in a compromised position. So one other demo we do is the unweighting principle. I'm going to call George up for this one. Come on up here. So this is about 24 pounds. Looking for the beat gauge in the room. Okay, you right-handed?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want you to do is stand there. I want you to do a front arm raise and just do 3 times. There you go. Try and go straight arm, front arm raise. There you go. Kind of feel the weight of that. Okay? All right, where'd you feel that?
Here. Elbows.
Elbow, bicep, shoulder?
Yeah.
Okay, so now what I want you to do is actually want you to take a step. So use some momentum, cheat basically. So do it 3 times, take a step and throw it up there. There you go. Let's do it 3 times. Use your weight. So use your weight. There you go. Okay, bring it down. So which one felt easier to do? With the step or without?
With the step.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did we change the weight of the kettlebell?
No.
No. So this is called the unweighting principle. We want to get the body moving forward before we actually go into our turn. Thank you, George. So that's another test that we would do with our hitters. All right, pitch plane, match pitch plane with geometry. Now the pitch plane is defined as the imaginary line from the pitcher's release point. Some of you who watch baseball probably know this, pitcher throws this way. And at his or her release point would be down here, to imaginary line connecting into the catcher's glove. Okay, so that's the imaginary, we call it the pitch plane or the plane of the pitch. As you can see, the top one, this one up here, is matching the plane of the pitch. The ball travels down regardless of whether we're throwing underhand, because we got gravity that's pulling that ball down, or we're standing on the mound that's 10 inches high, we're throwing overhand, that ball's going down to a catcher that's in this position. So we have to match the pitch plane. This is where geometry comes in. So the importance of a back leg angle. I'm going to show you a picture of Josh Donaldson. He's the AL MVP last year. You can see his back leg angle. What does that look like? 90 degrees? An L? A lot of my hitters. Now that back leg angle controls the angle of we call it the attack angle, so the ball going up or down. It's like the rudder on a boat. Rudder controls the boat going left or right. The back leg angle controls the ball going up or down. The straighter that leg, the more in the ground that ball goes. So if we want to drive the ball, we're talking about 90-degree angle, we're talking geometry here, that's what we want to look like with our back leg. I mentioned attack angle plus ball exit speed, so we need a decent attack angle, meaning the angle that barrel's coming up, either positive to the ball coming down, or negative coming to the ball going down. So we're going to be cutting that plane in half, almost like the other picture. The one of this one, you can see the bottom one, this one where it's kind of cutting it, right? We want to match the plane. So that's how we would do that there. Knock the snot out of the ball with springy fascia. Springy fascia is defined as a cotton candy-like material that your bones and muscles float in, gives muscles their shape, and it is made up of mostly collagen fibers. Very, very springy. So if we were to take all of our bones or if I were to take the fascia out of our body, all our bones, muscles, organs, everything else would just drop to a heap on the ground. It's what holds everything up. So we want to use these compression tension forces to drive the ball. Where's the biggest jump in Zepp swing experiment? So we hook one of these up to a bat, hooks up to the knob. It has a little couple gyroscopes or something like that in it that measures bat speed at impact, hand speed, attack angle, a bunch of different metrics. And so we can measure different things. So I've run a couple experiments or a few experiments that I take on 200 swings, 100 one way, 100 another way, and we compare. And the biggest jumps that we've seen in bat speed is showing the numbers, which is what Andrew McCutcheon here, he was the MVP in 2012 in the National League. He's right here, okay? You see him showing his numbers, okay? So we saw a 6 mile per hour average increase in showing the numbers versus not. You can see this downward shoulder angle here, okay? It's kind of downward. We saw a 4 mile per hour average increase in bat speed. You can see him, another one we did is hiding the hands. We didn't see a huge change in that. So, and then the other is hand tension. So using pre-turn hand tension or just finger pressure, we saw a 3 mile per hour increase in that on average versus not. And hunch posture, which we don't see here, but hunch posture actually gives us 4 extra attack angle degrees, so in the positive direction. So hunch posture would be kind of like you'd see Pete Rose or Babe Ruth or any of these other elite hitters. So what we went over today, you move better, you perform better. We used some movement tests. We talked about how to master pitch playing with geometry. And we talked about how to knock the snot out of the ball with springy fascia. Thank you.
So Joey, go
Yes.
fast.
Yes.
Question answer.
Yep.
So how do you put your head when you have your head?
How was it supposed to
Not
move?
down like this, not like that. Right, so
So it's supposed to stay pretty much on, the head has to move with the spine. So I can tilt it this way, and if you can see, I can tilt my head this way, right? It's tilting with my spine. At impact, as long as, you see me from the back,
Yeah.
you can see my head is, I can come down like this, but the head has to follow.
Yeah.
Okay, you can see the space between my, if I can get an angle for you
Yeah.
guys back here. The space between my ears, here and here, has to be pretty much the same. So we can't see this. Yeah, good question. Any
Cleaner
other?
lines is what you're talking about, really.
Huh?
Cleaner lines, not exaggerated lines.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I mean, I've seen that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? Because I was supposed to ask. So you guys should get asked questions.
thank you.
Yeah.